Following amazing success of Vanilla collection, Zara launched another chapter called Number 10 that consists of 4 fragrances, this time centered around the rich and warm note of amber. Which one you might like the best and which one is the best performer in this collection? You'll find out that and so much more in this review, and there will be a ranking in the end as well, so stay tuned if you're curious about these new Zara perfumes. Welcome back, I'm Miri, and on this channel we talk in depth about fragrances. Let's start with the first one, and that is Amber in Bloom. At the initial spray, you get an intoxicating blast of white flowers. Jasmine gives somewhat subtle sweetness and richness to the scent, but also it has dry animalic side. Under that sweetish floral aroma, there is a slight woody, animalic and musky undertone, giving sensual flair to the fragrance right from the start. The opening truly transports you to some faraway jasmine garden illuminated by moonlight. The scent is mostly floral and very feminine, but also it has darker, slightly carnal and sensual facets. As the fragrance evolves, it's accompanied with creamy, milky nuances of fleshy green tuberose petals. And tuberose in some perfumes can smell like bubblegummy sweet, but here tuberose is much more serious. It's powdery, it's velvety smooth, it's fatty with a pinch of coconut milk and some salty quality. So the mid smells like you picked some jasmine flowers from that garden to create an exquisite lush bouquet of jasmine and tuberose flowers, and then you immersed that bouquet in milk and blended it into the smoothest cream with animalic backdrop. In the base, Amber in Bloom is further smoothened and enhanced with a warm, resinous ambery base, giving some golden texture, while Cashmere accentuates those powdery, musky softness of the flowers. Base notes balance those creamy florals, making them more rounded, so this doesn't become just a single note white floral perfume or like tuberose essential oil scent. Amber in Bloom is a very floral, carnal and sensual fragrance because of the animalic jasmine qualities, but it's also very creamy and slightly milky white floral perfume. It doesn't smell youthful or fun, it's more serious, it's a bit mature, and for a woman who knows what she wants. So I understand why some would compare it with Mugler Alien, because in both you get animalic, slightly earthy and woody jasmine, but in Zara's fragrance, that dark, sensual jasmine is evident only in the opening. In the dry down, Amber in Bloom resembles Armani Privé Rouge Malachite and dolce&gabbana, the only one intense. I own both, I love both, but I wouldn't say they're the exact dupes. Rouge Malachite is deeper, spicier, with noticeable ylang-ylang, and it has a lot more complexity compared to Amber in Bloom, while if you compare this Zara fragrance to dolce&gabbana, the only one intense, Dolce&Gabbana's fragrance is a lot less animalic, it's more coconutty with a prominent vanilla, and it has citrusy opening Amber in Bloom doesn't have. So you could say that Amber in Bloom smells similar to Mugler Alien in the opening, while the dry down is somewhere in the middle between Armani Privé Rouge Malachite and Dolce&Gabbana, the only one intense. If you like either one of them, you will like Amber in Bloom as well. The longevity is pretty good. I get about 6 to 7 hours on my skin, while it lasts a lot longer on clothes, and this would be a great all year round fragrance for those who like intoxicating white floral perfumes with amber. I would rate it with 7 out of 10. The next one is Amber Fever, and this one is a proof that you can't really always trust the notes listed, especially in Zara fragrances where notes don't represent how the fragrance actually smells. For example, Orchid is listed as the top note, but it's not giving a sweet floral accord you might expect. The scent is a bit powdery, but in the opening it's mostly peppery, smoky, spicy, and even a bit leathery with some underlying sweetness, probably coming from vanilla that smoothens sharper spiciness and smoky, incensey aromas. The opening feels a bit more unisex. It smells like orchid growing in a smoky room. That incensey, spicy opening truly tickles your nose, but not to the point of sneezing. However, it tones down in about 5 minutes, and then the scent is much better with prominent vanilla sweetness and a rich, resinous, powdery, woody layer of golden amber. Vanilla and amber are center stage here, but smoky, spicy, leathery facets are still present even in the dry down. Only now they're more in the background, giving some darkness and intrigue to this fragrance. So the dry down smells like you're sitting in the nature next to trees with drops of resins, and you lit up a vanilla candle. So that combo of woody, smoky, resinous, and vanillic accords is how Amber Fever smells on my skin in the dry down. Amber Fever isn't a typically sugary, sweet, gourmand vanilla fragrance, and surprisingly, it's not overly feminine either. It's more unisex, especially in the opening, but it gets sweeter and more vanillic as it dries down, so women can wear it, of course. Amber Fever is more colder weather fragrance, and I feel like the name is kind of misleading as well. This would fit much better in vanilla collection because both vanilla and smoky accords overpower the scent of amber in this perfume. On Fragrantica, in the section which perfume is this similar to, many mentioned Yves Saint Laurent's Baby Cat, and I can see why. Both are a smoky, spicy take on vanilla, but Baby Cat is of course way more complex. It's better nuanced fragrance with balsamic, almost burnt, addictively narcotic aspects in the opening, and a lot of caramelized vanilla and leather in the dry down. That reminds me kind of burnt sugar crust on top of creme brulee, while Amber Fever is more toned down. It's a bit rough on the edges, and it's much lighter, it's much airier. It doesn't have that caramelized vanilla feel, but nonetheless, if you like smoky, spicy vanilla amber in a similar vein to Baby Cat, Amber Fever is a way to go. The only issue is the performance. I get about 5 hours of wear with softer projection, and the scent eventually becomes a skin scent. Therefore, this one gets 8 out of 10. Next up is Amber Satin, and here is Zara very secretive, listing their notes because only 2 are listed. So I'll just describe what I get in this fragrance and how it smells to me. When you first spray it, there is something fruity, a bit juicy, and equally sweet and fresh at the same time. So it kind of reminds me of the scent of slightly sour cherries. But even in the opening, the scent is spicy and sweet. And I think that spiciness comes from cinnamon that gives sweet, cozy, spicy, woody undertone. The opening smells like cherry cinnamon rolls. You get sweetness, spiciness, and fresh fruity aroma. But as the scent dries down, amber comes out, while the scent becomes sweeter with some rich syrupy vanilla and a bit of smokiness, like tobacco was used here as well, even though it's not listed. And it gives slightly incensey, smoky facets, while cherry moves to the background. Also, the more time passes by, something Middle Eastern starts to be noticeable in the deep background. Something not quite woody, but more like a subtle hint of oud, giving some oriental, darker vibe with still prominent sweet ambery spices that run throughout the length of this fragrance. So the dry down smells like smoky, spicy oud mixed with the scent of cherry cinnamon rolls in the distance. This is an oriental spicy perfume, but it's still sweet and very warm. The opening and initial 2-3 hours of wear are unisex, leaning more feminine because you still get syrupy sweetness and cherry-like fruitiness with captivating spicy cinnamon. But after first 3 hours, Amber Satin becomes slightly more masculine because cherry-like aroma dissipates and the scent is enhanced with oriental woody backdrop. That's why I think Amber Satin is pretty much a unisex fragrance, better for fall and winter. And even though it's quite spicy, spices are never like pungent or too sharp. They're like warm and inviting. The quality and richness of this scent really surprised me for a Zara fragrance, but I wouldn't say this is a safe blind buy. It's quite sweet, it's spicy, it's slightly woody in the background. So for some, it might be too dense, too mature, too spicy, or even slightly too masculine. But if you would like a cherry-like scent on a bed of warm, woody spices, Amber Satin will truly be something you will absolutely love and enjoy. It's in the similar vein with Kayali Invite Only Amber and Parfums de Marly Ocean. So if you like sweet, cinnamony, ambery and tobacco-ish fragrances, Amber Satin is the way to go for you. I do enjoy it. It lasts about 7 hours on my skin with moderate projection. So I would rate it with 9 out of 10. And the last one is Stellar Amber. It starts with juicy, creamy pear with a hint of freshness and brightness, like you could smell a bit of citrusy notes in the distance, giving this touch of sparkliness and enhancing pear's natural juiciness. So I got like a juicy, sweet pear with a touch of watery, almost citrusy freshness. But overall, Stellar Amber feels very creamy and very smooth. It smells like you just washed a ripe pear. There are still droplets of water all over it, and then you blended it into a smooth paste, basically a pear puree. The scent has a very delicious, youthful and bubbly top, but very soon the scent is accompanied with ambery warmth, this creamy, almost milky sweet peach, and some powdery floral tones from osmanthus. Even though Zara note breakdown isn't too specific with this one either, there is some sweetness in this fragrance, like vanilla was used as well, and I wouldn't be surprised because it gives a soft, creamy texture, never becoming too sugary or too cloying. The mid smells like chewy gummies with peach cream flavor next to powdery sweet flowers. It's very enjoyable, and in the base, the scent gets just a bit woodier, more resinous and slightly balsamic, and thus Stellar Amber feels very balanced and well-rounded, fruity, ambery, woody scent. This is an all-year-round fragrance that shines in the colder weather, but it's not too much for summer evenings either. It's quite versatile, and even though it's not extremely complex, it's very pretty, comforting, cozy fragrance because of its smooth, creamy texture. It lasts about 7 hours on my skin with moderate projection, which is great, while on clothes it lasts for days, so performance is great, at least on my skin, and many compare it with Amouage Guidance, which is extremely popular compliment getting perfume I will review in the future. And even though they have a similar creamy, sweet, ambery vibe, Guidance is woodier, it's more floral, it's more complex, it's nuttier, while Stellar Amber is fruitier, more youthful and fresher, especially in the opening. So in my opinion, they aren't 100% the same, but considering the difference in price, of course, Zara Stellar Amber is a great choice, especially if you didn't like the challenging opening Guidance has. So if you like creamy, fruity, ambery perfumes that feel like you're wrapped in a soft amber-colored blanket and that have somewhat different feel compared to other standard designer or other Zara fruity perfumes, check out Stellar Amber. It's a great affordable fragrance and I would rate it with 8 out of 10. If these in-depth reviews were helpful and descriptive to you, then boop the like button, subscribe and hit the notification bell so this video could spread to more people. All in all, this collection isn't as good as Vanilla collection is, but it's not that far off either. As it is case with almost all Zara fragrances, this one included, they are heavily influenced by other more high-end perfumes, but Zara scents cost only a fraction of their price, so they're really affordable. But just be aware that none of these 4 perfumes are a safe blind buys. They're different compared to other mass-appealing Zara fragrances, and they smell bold and niche-like. They are well made, they don't smell juvenile, but that doesn't mean they are devoid of some rough edges. Considering performance, the softest one on my skin is Amber Fever, while 2 best performing fragrances are Amber Satin and Zara Amber. Each perfume in this collection provides a different take on amber, catering to different preferences from sweet to floral to rich and spicy. So here's a quick recap what you might expect from each one. Amber in Bloom is a white floral animalic take on amber. Amber Fever is a smoky vanillic take on amber. Amber Satin is a spicy cherry-like take on amber, and Zara Amber is a creamy fruity take on amber. And now here's my ranking based on the scent profile only, because performance rating would decrease their overall score. On the 3rd place with 7 out of 10 is Amber in Bloom, and this is the most feminine, the most serious perfume in this collection, with a lot of carnal white flowers. On the 2nd place with 8 out of 10 are 2 fragrances, and those are Zara Amber and Amber Fever. Amber Fever is peppery, smoky, leathery vanilla for those loving darker, sensual, sweet perfumes, while Zara Amber is milky peach with woodier, ambery base, basically a more mass-appealing version of Amouage Guidance. And scent-wise, my favorite that deserves the 1st place and 9 out of 10 is Amber Satin. This is the most refined perfume in this collection in my opinion, with cinnamon, cherry-like and a bit of woody facets, and it's very intoxicating, but only if you like spicy fragrances. I hope this video will help you in deciding which one of these affordable Zara perfumes would become your next signature scent. And let me know which ones are your favorites and why. How would you rate them and rank them? And if you still haven't watched the in-depth reviews of the Zara Vanilla collection, then you need to check this video out. I will see you there. Bye!